Well, good evening. Running late today, but that's okay. Most of you who watch these watch them the next day anyway, so it works out great. We'll just stay a day behind. Maybe what I should do is record Mondays on Sunday and so on and so forth. And that would probably work. I may consider that. In the meantime, however, it's good to be with you this evening, and I'm happy to bring to you a devotion out of Psalm chapter 36. This is a Psalm of David, and it's one that I think you'll see right away is just uplifting and good. They're all good. I like all the Psalms. I don't speak enough on them because I've always viewed the Psalms to be more personal. It's not that you can't preach a message regarding them. Sometimes I use music when I preach. Sometimes I'll quote songs or song lyrics, gospel songs or hymns. And so you can use even the Psalms, which were all sung to begin with. In fact, you'll notice most of these say at the beginning, to the chief musician. These were lyrics to songs. These psalms were. So anyway, there's nothing wrong with using good hymns in illustrations and preaching a message out of them. I just typically tend not to do that. I very seldom preach on the Psalms, but for devotional purposes, they're great because they're personal, they're helpful, they're encouraging. And some of them aren't. Some of them are very, very convicting. But they'll help you throughout your day. I've always been told, if you're going to look at your Bible in the morning and you don't have a lot of time, the Proverbs and the Psalms are good places to begin your day. Anyway, so Psalm 36 says this. Verse 1, the transgression of the wicked saith within my heart, that there is no fear of God before his eyes. And I think what David's saying here is, wicked people are in front of him all the time, and he witnesses the fact that they have no fear or love of God, and that's their problem. That's what's wrong with our country too. We have a variety of people who just do not fear the Lord. There is a guy going around, and I hate to even bring this up. It grieves me in my spirit that I have to even mention this because it's not something that should be an issue, but there is a man who I believe is homosexual, but it doesn't matter. He's a rap artist. I'm not even going to grace him with using his name on my YouTube. But I'll tell you that he is, in addition to making very wicked videos with images of Satan, which he literally has done recently, in addition to that, he's out here selling a shoe that supposedly has a drop of human blood in each one. He's selling 666 of these shoes, or pairs of shoes. And the idea of putting a drop of human blood, whether that's real or if it's just red paint meant to imitate human blood, whatever it is he's doing, he's getting away with this. He's selling 666 pairs of these shoes. His videos are ultra wicked, just horrible. And I look at that, and it shames me that I've even got to say that and tell people about it. And then I read this verse, the transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes, until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. This particular rap artist, supposedly his father was a pastor or minister of some kind. And that's more common than you think. For those who don't know who Katy Perry is, I read somewhere, and I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, but I read somewhere that Katy Perry's original name was Katie Hudson. She wasn't very memorable in her ability singing. She didn't have any hits that anybody was aware of. And then she changes her name and writes a song, or sings a song, performs a song about kissing on a woman. And in the song, well, she got famous doing that. And she was kind of a one-hit wonder in my eyes, and I didn't even think it was a hit. But that's the only song I know that she ever sang, is that one. I know there's others, but I don't know what they are. I read somewhere she is a preacher or minister's daughter. So it's unfortunate that some of these folks have left off, like he said, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. These that I've mentioned, if it's true that their parents were godly, then they have left off the opportunity to follow in those footsteps and be good and wise. However, the situation being what it is, this is more common than you might think. And what grieves me is that children idolize these people, these rap artists and pop artists who hate God. Verse 4, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Now this is where you've got to be thinking, wait a minute, Brother Chad, you said this was a good song, it was uplifting. Well, it is when you look at the latter half of it. Verse 5, thy mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens, and thy faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. Thy righteousness is like the great mountains. Thy judgments are great deep, O Lord. Thou preservest man and beast. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O God. Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. What David's saying here is, even in the midst of all this wickedness that we have to witness, you're a wonderful God. You are merciful, righteous, and just. And the things you do are perfect. And because we have that example to look to, there's no reason to look to any other. I'm thankful that I serve a God who is righteous, who is just, who is merciful and faithful, always faithful, who loves me with a perfect love, despite my many, many failings. I am so thankful to serve and honor a God like that. Verse 8, they shall be abundantly satisfied with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy pleasures. This is speaking of those who honor God and love him, in contrast to those in the first 4 verses who do not. Verse 9, for with thee is the fountain of life, in thy light shall we see light. I love that. See, all light on this planet that is man-made is artificial light. Whether it be by fire, or a kerosene lantern, a candle, or a light bulb, it's artificial light. Even the sun is artificial light. I mean, God made it. The true light is in it. Everything else is an imitation. So when he says, with thee is the fountain of life, in thy light shall we see light. We don't know what light is until we see it in him. It's just beautiful to recognize that the only, when you're in darkness, light is very welcoming. Well, I say that. Light shines upon our sin and makes it apparent and shows us our need for a Savior. And light can be very convicting, but it can also be a blessed thing. If you were stuck in a dark room for 3 straight days and somebody turned on the light, your eyes would have to adjust, but you'd be happy to have that light. And I think about that in regard to the sin that we were all bound in the darkness thereof, and how God's light shines upon that, offers us a way out of it. And then because we have his light, David says here, in thy light shall we see light. Not only can we see, but we begin to recognize what light is. We begin to understand. That's another portion of that light, is understanding. To this day, that makes sense. When someone is exceptionally smart, we call them bright. Have you ever noticed that? We call people bright when they're smart. Well, that's because the light that comes on, and sometimes when in a cartoon, when they're illustrating an idea, a thought process, a light bulb will come on. Well, again, that's a light. Well, that light, we have that because we have him. He is the light. He is the bright one. He is the intelligent one, the all-knowing one, the one who supplies any and all intelligence that there is. Scientists can look until they're blue in the face. They're not going to find true intelligence and light unless they first find God. Now, not all scientists are atheists, but the ones who don't know the Lord will never see true light. I didn't mean to linger on that so long, but it's beautiful. Oh, continue thy loving kindness unto them that know thee, and thy righteousness to the upright in heart. What he's saying here is, Lord, be with those who recognize who you are, because they need you. It's not that you can't pray for those that are in darkness, but some of those that are in darkness have already hardened their heart toward God, and they're not going to turn around. And so we must focus on those who will hear it. And we can pray for the others, but our focus is on those who will hear it. Let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked remove me. There are the workers of iniquity fallen. They're cast down and shall not be able to rise. The end result is going to be that God's folks are going to be delivered victoriously, and those wicked that are against him will suffer for their choice. I hate it. I do, for anyone to have to suffer, but righteousness, in order to practice righteousness, you have to pull down wickedness, and God's going to do that someday. Well, listen, I hope that you truly know the Lord. I hope that you truly know of that light. And because you have that light, you can share that light. I hope and pray that everyone watching this knows him. But if you don't, I would to God that you would come to know him. At least look into it. You can go back to some of our earliest videos, and I present the gospel as often as I know how. But at the end of the day, it's as simple as this. Look and live. Look at him and live. And if you're seeking him, you'll find him. If you're not seeking him, you won't find him. In fact, it's not even you looking for him. He looks for us. He makes himself apparent to us, and all we really have to do is accept him when he comes. It's a misnomer to say we find God. We don't. He finds us. But what we should find is the opportunity in our heart to hear it when it's presented. And I would that everybody do that. Listen, I love you. I have no malice or ill will toward anybody about anything. I just would to God that people would love him and serve him. And I know that's his desire as well. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you. Pray for me as I pray for you.